Today's episode is sponsored by Holy Milk. I've got a test package here. Delicious vegan milk that has no seed or vegetable oil, refined sugar, natural flavors, or non-organic stabilizers. This stuff is delicious. Check out the Holy Milk Instagram to find out where you can purchase Holy Milk in New York City.
Street of Jones, this is my street. My family settled here 85 years ago. My family settled here 225 years ago, made themselves a street, and now here we are on beautiful Jones Street.
You started Ted Jones.
Here on Thanksgiving, I want to wish you and your family and friends, whoever you're with, your associates, your guardians, whatever, happy Thanksgiving, guys. If you're listening or watching this podcast, you know, we have a ton to be thankful for sure. One is being alive, man. I tell you, this has been like a recent thing where every day I wake up now, I'm like, oh, pumped. I'm pumped. This is great. My grandpa, when he was 18 years old, went to Georgia to enlist in the army to go fight in World War II. And I think about this, like, there are so many things that us as people don't want to do on an everyday basis, whether it's work out, whether it's do that extra thing that's going to put you forward towards becoming successful. There are just so many things that we don't want to do. The past, I'd say like 9 months, I've added running almost every single day to my workout regimen. Now, I know this isn't like something that would be considered super important, but I think that there is something to be said about doing stuff every day you don't want to do. It just makes the rest of your day better. And I've heard from like a lot of self-help gurus. There are like a good amount of people who give good advice, I'd say. Guys like Tony Robbins, Ed Mylett, Jesse Itzler, they talk about how each part of your day can be broken down into like levels. And if you just think like you win each part, it just makes the rest of your day better. In the morning, if you guys go to the gym, that's something hard that you completed. In the afternoon, for example, I will edit a podcast, put together a vlog. That's another win. Then at night, if I go out and start doing comedy things, that's another win. So if you break the day into 3 separate parts, I think it helps you kind of I just spit on the mic, digest things better. And just like, yeah, like the past 9 months implementing running, I think has like cleared my head a little bit more. Now I know it sounds cliche and being like, oh, I feel so much better when I work out. But I think ultimately I really do. And I can tell the difference even on days that I rest or whatever. I do kind of get jittery. I'm like, all right, I want to go outside, get some sun, whatever. But I think human contact is a huge part of being happy. There have been so many nights, like even recently, where I'm just on the couch, I'm watching freaking Bachelor in Paradise, some show like that. And I'm just laying down here, as you guys can see, on this freaking couch. But I usually get like a second wind. I'm more happy once I go outside. I see the city lights. I see people. And for those listening who live in the suburbs, I think you have a way bigger advantage than us people who live in the cities. Places that don't really have grass available and you don't have a backyard. I think that there is something to be said for people who see green all the time. You know what I mean? You got to be thankful for that. There's so many things to be thankful for. I myself, being a Jew who had his bar mitzvah 18 years ago to the day, actually, that's something that I'm grateful for as well, man. With all the craziness going on in the Middle East, if you guys listened to a previous episode with Nama Amir, a girl who actually was a soldier in the IDF, she talked a little bit about, I guess I shouldn't say a little bit about, but she talked about life in Israel and how there's just like a lot of tension. And anywhere you're probably living now in the United States, there's a lot of tension. All over the world, there's a lot of tension. And I think that we as people need to use our words more, preach peace. I think that's a huge part. That's a huge part today. There's so many things that you could do for other people. And when you do things for other people, maybe not always, but I certainly find that I feel better when I make somebody else smile. Like today, I took 2 fat garbage bags to the Goodwill today, and while I was dropping it off, you know, like I just saw other people in there shopping for clothes. For those of you who have ever dropped off items at Goodwill, you get a receipt and you put your items down there, and then you could get a tax rebate. Let me show you show you this thing that I got right here. I'm going to write down like $300 or something like that. You get a tax write-off. But it's almost episode 400, guys, which is crazy because I've been doing this podcast for 4.5 years. And in the beginning of the podcast, we had producer Pat helping me out and also was the co-host on the podcast, but he was producing it. He did a great job for that first year. So I can't thank him enough. I probably wouldn't even have been able to continue the podcast if it wasn't for him in the beginning, initial setting it up. I reached out to him one day and I was like, dude, you want to start a podcast? He's like, bro, I'm down. This is right after I had jaw surgery and right after my life really changed. I'm so thankful for that. I had really invasive jaw surgery. I've talked about this many a times on the podcast, but I had an uneven bite and went to the orthodontist and he showed me how my bite was uneven. And this was the first time I had been to the orthodontist in like 8 years. So 8 years removed from braces, maybe even more than 8 years removed from braces, but I hadn't seen him in 8 years. And they did x-rays and my jaw was crooked. I had jaw surgery that put me out of the game where I couldn't chew any foods for 3 months for real. I was just having soft foods. And at the time I was dating a girl who was great and it just wasn't working out. And it made me see things just more clearly. I wasn't eating. I was on pain pills, but I think it really changed my life for I think for the better. We'll see. But I think as of right now, I feel great. As you guys are listening to me just being like, oh yeah, I'm thankful for this, thankful for that. I think it's good for you to realize what you're thankful for. You know what I mean? If you have hearing, you're listening to this. If you're watching with your eyeballs, you have eyeballs watching this. But I think we need to refer back to the generations before us that had it more difficult, had a more difficult time. We're talking about 100 years ago. Think about all the wars, the disease, even the Great Depression. There's so many different aspects of the world previously that were difficult to live through. And I think just even being in the studio here, the apartment where it's sometimes a little bit hot because you can't control the radiator, but hey, at least there's heat, man. I also want to mention Peter Moran, who was a podcast co-host with me for about 70 episodes, probably from episode 80 to around 140, 150. He was a great co-host, but there have been so many different renditions of the pod and all the comics that have been on, all the guests that we've had, but 400 episodes, especially right now on today, Thanksgiving, I'm just reminiscing on this. I haven't really expressed my gratitude. I wonder how many times I've said gratitude in this freaking 8 minutes that you guys are listening to this, but a lot. And I am thankful. I'm very thankful. I think in today's environment, if you're able to pursue passions that really make you happy on a day-to-day basis, you got to do it. You got to do it, guys. Because you're going to die ultimately, which is an interesting thought. My tangent of me being thankful and grateful, it's Thanksgiving. So I got to freaking do it. And also being vegan, I think has changed the trajectory of my life. If you guys are listening to this and you still eat meat, that's all good. I feel like a lot of people still eat meat, but I think that implementing more plant-based lifestyle moves into your life will make you feel better mentally. You'll feel clearer. And since I went vegan, this is around the time when I had jaw surgery. I have never felt uncomfortably full where I need to be rolled out of somewhere. Maybe sometimes you guys will go to a restaurant and you're like, oh, I feel like shit. You got to lay down in the booth. You're just freaking, you're super tired. And that happens in the past when I had meat, but it doesn't really happen to me anymore. So I think that, as time goes on, we're going to start to see that eating less meat is better for you. Okay, so on my grateful tangent, we can talk about a few more things that I've been doing. I've been watching these shows. Okay, this is the first time I've ever watched the Bachelor series. I don't know if you guys watch it, or actually that's not true. There are 2 new renditions of of The Bachelor, which is on ABC. It's on Hulu now. I've been watching Bachelor in Paradise. This is the first season I've ever watched, and Golden Bachelor. Both of these things are fascinating to me. It's for the most part, anytime I'm watching TV now, anytime I watch TV, I'm on my phone, probably half the time, and I'm sure you guys probably have that same issue, or I don't even know if it's an issue, it's just something that we do. But Golden Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise has got me hooked, man. And I think it's because there's so much drama on the shows. Like, even if there's not drama, you can tell that the producers are in the background being like, create some drama. Like, anytime there's a new person that comes into the beach on Bachelor in Paradise, everybody's like, oh my God, like this person and this person are going to be so worried because this person is here, like, each time. And the Golden Bachelor is cute. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the Golden Bachelor is this guy, Gary. I think that's how you say his name. Maybe not like that, not Geary, but it's spelled Gerry, which is Gary, but Gary, you know, which is I don't know. It's a little bit of a weird name, but hey, my real name is. Did I just spoil the beans on the pod? If you didn't know that, yes. My name is Edward. I don't look like an Edward. But anyway, going back to the Golden Bachelor. This guy has like 25 women that he's picking from, and we'll see. The season finale is coming up next week. If you guys need a show, maybe you should watch that. And I'm also, I'd look for shows. If you guys have any recommendations, you write in the comments or you email me, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. It's been a long time since we've done a solo podcast, but it feels good. Feels good, man. Have a lot of comedy shows coming up. If you guys are listening to this on Thursday, Thanksgiving, or maybe you're listening to it a few days after, I have a number of shows coming up at the Comedy Shop in Greenwich Village, 167 Bleecker Street. I'll put up my dates right here, actually, for the next like 5 days. You can catch me here at the Comedy Shop. You guys are checking out these dates. So come see me do live stand-up comedy soon. One thing that I would like to change in this year coming up, I know we've got like 6 weeks left in 2023, is I want to stop biting my nails, or at least stop biting them as much. When I go to the gym, I don't wear headphones, and I think that instead of me listening to music, I find myself distracted by my fingernails. Do you guys bite your fingernails? I don't know what it is. Like, I will know that I'm not supposed to bite them. And then if I don't bite them, I start picking them. And then if I put the stuff from CVS on my nails, I'll bite them and I'll forget that I have it on, but then I'll just go back to picking it. So that's one thing I got to stop doing. You know, everybody has bad habits. This is like a particularly weird bad habit, but I got to cut it out. It's so weird that it's like a universal habit too. You know, like, why do we bite our nails? I don't get it. Maybe it's like a nervous thing, it's like oral fixation. I've heard that. Beats me at that. Before we get out of here, I wanted to promo the new Ted Jones World YouTube channel called Ted Jones World 2, where we have sketches and vlogs and stand-up comedy. For those of you listening to this, watching this, if you're watching on YouTube, this channel here, the Ted Jones World podcast, is where we're just going to exclusively put podcast clips. So check it out. Check out Ted Jones World 2. Check me out on TikTok, Ted Jones World 1. And by the way, I should preface, Ted Jones World 2 is spelled TOO. If you guys are looking on the YouTube right now, or you're watching video on Spotify, yes, we have video on Spotify, very exclusive. You're listening on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening to this podcast. We really freaking appreciate it. Thanks so much for the support, as always. And guys, have a terrific Thanksgiving. You're listening to this at another day. Have a terrific day. You deserve it. Be grateful. Tell the Lord, the universe, that you're grateful. All right? Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.